Ready? All right, welcome back to another episode of Fabrication 101. It's great to have you guys back in the shop with me today. Today we're going to be working on a project I've been wanting to do for a while. It's another little kind of shop organizational tool kind of cleanup project. And I'm going to show you what it is. Well, kind of. Wanting to build, try not to judge my mess over here, but I've been wanting to build a cart for this thing, my TIG welder here. This is the Prime Weld 225. Pretty pleased with this little machine. But anyway, I want to build a cart so we can clean up some of this mess, make it a little bit more usable, because one of the issues I have is my leads only reach out to a certain point. So like I said, I've been wanting to build a cart for this for a while. And what I'm going to use is right behind me. You can kind of see it there. Repurpose this old hand truck, dolly, cart, whatever you want to call it, into the cart for my TIG welder. So be pretty straightforward. I'm not going to get too crazy with this thing. The TIG welder is going to mount on the back here. I'll build a shelf for it to sit on. This is going to get removed from here. This handle, which this is one that you can convert, is going to come out. I'm going to build the cylinder is going to go on this side. I'm hoping that the weight of the cylinder will be enough to offset the weight of the machine and minimize the risk of it tipping over. Build a place to get some filler metal storage tubes on the side of the cylinder there. And then on the top here, I'm going to build a shelf that's going to come out over top of the machine, which this will then slide down into, kind of cover up this kind of ugliness. Might make a little bit of a gusset here and make it look kind of cool, but then there'll be a shelf here for all of my TIG consumables, not consumables, tungsten, TIG fingers, gloves, tungsten sharpener, all that kind of good stuff that needs to have a place to be, so it's not all just piled around my TIG welder like it is now. It's kind of a mess over there. So anyway, we're going to get started. Going to be using up a bunch more scrap, hopefully try to use a bunch more just junk material, stuff that's been laying around for a while. This cart's one of those things. I have another one, so I'm not really worried about cutting this one up and using it. So we're going to get started. We're going to cut these extra wheels off, then we'll start making the frame for the machine to sit in. All right, so obviously all the pieces are cut out. They're also tacked together. I went ahead and got them all tacked up. Before I go ahead and weld this out, I am gonna go ahead and muscle that thing out of there and make sure it fits in this little tray. Assuming it fits, then I'll go ahead and get it welded up and then go ahead and get it attached to the cart. Well, she's all welded up. Some of the welds came out pretty okay. Most of them came out pretty okay, to be honest. Some of them we won't talk about, but overall, I think it's going to work just fine. Next step, I think I'm going to throw the wheels and tires back on it, and then start thinking about the part where the cylinder is going to be held in place, and then how that's going to tie into the shelf that's going to go on top of the welder. All right, well, after quite a bit of cardboard aided design CAD work, obviously, I've come up with a plan to build this. Is going to be like the part that holds the cylinder. The cylinder is going to go in here. I'm going to put some holes out along the sides on both sides for some TIG filler rod holders. And then this is going to be the side that's going to come down. So I don't think I'm going to try to build this in one big piece and make these bends. There is a couple bends in this piece which are going to be tough enough since I really don't have a brake. But I think I can manage these two. No bends in this one, just a lot of holes to cut out. This one's actually got quite a few holes, and then these ones are going to be a series of dimple dies in there as well. So, and there's 2 of these that got to be cut out. So, got quite a bit of layout work on the material and some cutting to do. So, let's get after it. All right, the first part here is pretty much done. I got a little bit more cleanup work to do, but should be pretty close enough to fit where it's going to go. And it's going to drop right in, about like that. And then we're going to build the gusset pieces for the side over here. I may have to do something a little funny back here because of the way this tube is in the frame, but I think it's all going to work pretty well. So let's get that other piece cut out. All right, she's all bent up and tacked together. Came out pretty good. Some of it's a little rough. It'd be really nice someday to have a proper brake instead of just bending things with angle iron and that kind of stuff. But anyway, now it's time to go ahead and get some welding done and then get this thing cleaned up, get that part tacked on there, and this piece is done. All right, so this piece is all welded into place. Looking pretty good, pretty happy with it so far. Next thing I got to figure out is, I think I'll go ahead and figure out how I'm going to tie the bottle into here. So I'm going to put a bottle in it, figure out what kind of securing system I want to try to build here. This distance should be pretty close to the depth of the bottle, but I got to make sure. So we'll check that out, see how it fits, and then we'll keep moving forward. So we'll check that out, see how it fits. Still got to build a shelf on the backside, and then got to figure out some way to store leads and things on this as well. All right, so the little tray on the top of the machine is done. I got a little handle here. Well, it's not really a handle. It's more of a place to hang the welding leads when it's not being used. Didn't really want to hang them off this side of the machine because this is going to be the back. So when the cart gets tipped to roll, I didn't want those leads like hanging off the back in the way, kind of where your feet were going to be and that kind of stuff. So anyway, gives me a place to throw some stuff. It's mounted to the top of the machine. I decided to go ahead and bolt it to here rather than on the top of the cart here. I just thought this was a much simpler, easier way to do it. You can see I kind of got lazy on the mounting setup here and just went with some simple straps, both for the machine and to hold the cylinder in as well. So not the most elegant way or fancy way to do this, but I think it's going to work just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and throw some paint on this. I got to go buy a couple of little spacers that need to go between the machine and the little tray there, so it's not pulling down on there. And then we'll get it all put together. We'll be back in just a second. All right, pretty much done. I'm pretty happy with this thing. It balances actually really well. I was a little concerned that the machine would be too much weight on the back when you go to tip it back. This is still a little wet, so I'm gonna grab here, but it actually balances out fairly well. I don't think there's any concern of it wanting to tip back towards the machine and damaging it. Even that, it's gonna be pretty protected in there. But I'm pretty happy with this. These filler tubes, I believe, are from Blue Demon Filler. I'll link those down below to Amazon if you want to go pick those up. They're pretty cool. But anyway, this thing's pretty sweet, pretty happy with it. I went ahead and painted the wheels red, kind of an accent to match the machine on there. Overall, came out pretty good. So that's going to do it for this episode of Fabrication 101. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys can see it, I kind of had a little bit of an incident here. While I was drilling a bunch of the holes with one of the step bits, a shard or whatever, a ribbon of hot metal popped out, actually went around my safety glasses and got right in there next to my eye. Pretty lucky, pretty scary moment. But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of Fabrication 101. Let me know what you think about this project, about this stand. I'm pretty pleased with it. I think it came out really well, and I'm glad to have it kind of done. This way I can move it around a little easier. There's been a couple of times where I've wanted to do some welding away from the table on the Bronco or something like that, and just don't have enough length in the leads. I suppose I could have always gotten longer leads, but I think this is a good solution. I've wanted to kind of build a cart for this thing for a while. I'm pretty happy with the way this came out. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you haven't done so already, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the videos. And let me know what you think of these projects and what you'd like me to see me do next. I think on my next project, we're going to be doing some work on the Bronco, even though it's not going to be any major work. I'm going to build some storage solutions on that thing. So we will see you guys on the next episode of Fabrication 101. In the meantime, do yourself a favor, do me a favor, and go build something.